What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, shout out to Alien Army. Raise up, stand up, and definitely spin around and hit a comment. Well, drop a comment and hit a like button. If you're Alien Army, if you can, drop a second comment too. At some point in this video, I may or may not give a special code word at the end of the video or at a part of the video. And if you hear it, drop it so I can see how far along the video you watch. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I am homeless, and checking in for Alien Army. Always raising up. If you want to know what an Alien Army member is, it's literally people that rock with me heavy, they rock with me tough. They're always hitting the like button and dropping comments. There's a whole lot of them, and I wanted to continue to grow. And if you like this content or anything like that, check out my other content as well. But I don't want these long ass intros. Well, I don't mind them, but I think that I'll reach more people. Oh, real quick too, if you want to bless me or show me love, my Cash App is the same as my YouTube name, AlienAscend. I'll put that in the description. Now I'll jump into the video. Homeless sensationalized. Okay, so if you watched my last video, that was the word I couldn't think of, and I actually did think of it and wrote it down. And then I also had an Alien Army member put it in the comments, and then I was thinking today, that's what I wanted to talk about. And so I'm gonna start off with the definition. I have my own little definition, but it's basically the same words. It's all the same, like how you interpret it and everything else. And I did see that person coming before I looked in my right mirror. Always keep your head on a swivel when you're homeless. All right. So the definition: present information about something in a way that provokes public interest and excitement at the expense of accuracy. So I wrote down what Google told me the definition is. If I start sweating or coughing or anything like that, it's hot, and when I do these videos, I don't have my air conditioner on because it makes too much noise. All right. What I consider homeless sensationalized, and I do have a hard time one, remembering that word, and second, doesn't want to roll off the tip of my tongue, so to speak. It's kind of a tongue twister for me. Is they want presenting the information in a way that will get interest and excitement, and at the expense of accuracy, right? So if I look down, it's because I'm checking out my notes or whatever. The first sensationalized thing is that, and it's the way that they paint a narrative. That's one of the ways that I do it. Like, you lump up what you want to go ahead and do, and of course it lacks accuracy, but you are using that to create your own narrative, right? So there's a lot of narratives that come along with this, and I hope you stick through all of it. I'm going to start off with what I consider probably is something that you definitely need to know about. And that's literally that every homeless person needs to go get a job. Every homeless person, you don't have to worry about being homeless because you don't use substances, you don't use alcohol like that, you don't abuse it, you don't get blackout drunk, you don't do that stuff, so you don't have nothing to worry about being homeless. Man, those people that are homeless, there's programs out there for them. There's programs out there. There's food stamps, there's shelters, there's Section 8, there is vouchers, there is food banks, there's this government grant, there's this government grant, or this state grant and this state grant. Oh, they have actually free little tiny homes you could live in and stuff like that, right? And these people just need to get a job. Let me tell you something. The majority of homeless people that I actually see all have jobs, right? They and I've said this in tons of videos, but I'm going to be going into more information, more detail. A job's not going to help them get a house. Like me, my credit score is ruined. Now, yeah, it's my fault. I take blame, and I take accountability, and I take responsibility for my actions. I ruined my credit. I didn't pay my credit card bills when I needed to because before becoming homeless, I was living off my credit cards. I was trying to make something happen. I was like, let me pay this bill, let me pay this bill. The bottom line wasn't making enough money. I used to be a truck driver. I have a video of here why I quit truck driving. So if you haven't heard that story, check that out. If you want to know why I'm fully homeless, I have that video as well. That's like the first long form video I did, so definitely check that out. But the narrative of they're lazy, they just want a handout, they're flying signs and stuff like that, and there's this help, and that you don't have nothing to worry about if you don't have those problems. The truth about it is America is in debt. Our country's credit score is crap. but you expect the people here to actually have good ones so that we can get a lower interest rate, or we can get a loan. And the truth is that the kind of loans that most people need is what's considered a secured loan, right? And it's a secured loan because it's a vehicle, it's a house. You know, what are the prices on that vehicle, on that house? You know, 9 times out of 10, those houses, in my opinion, are so overpriced, and they try to justify, you know, it's location is what they teach real estate agents. Like, you know, if you have a mansion in the hood and you have a mansion in a very nice area that's gated and everything else, which one's going to cost more? You know, the lumber and the materials and the people doing it does not change from you know, from doing it in the hood and doing it in you know, in a rich area. What changes is location. You know, this is a gated community. The crime rates are low. You know, this part of you know, parceled out subdivisions or whatever has an HOA, and that HOA is you know, going to make sure that your value, you know, the value of your property is always going to be up. You know, something along those lines. You know, buying a house shouldn't take 30 years. You know, there's a bunch of stuff like that. But instead of them, you know, the way that they're painting the narrative is like, you know, hey, you know, as long as you don't have those issues, or hey, those homeless people just need to get a job. You know, hey, you know, they have programs. So I like to talk about some of the sensationalized stuff on here. Well, first I'll touch on what I talked about last video. And if you didn't watch last video, you know, watch this one and check it out. I think there's a few things that I could have conveyed better, and I think I did. It was a good video. You know, if it wasn't a good video, I wouldn't have posted it. But that video, I think that, you know, I watch my videos before posting, and I also watch them afterwards. You know, and when I'm watching them, whatever, I'm thinking, you know, am I talking well? Am I getting my points across? I do everything nearly 99% off the top of my head, and I do understand that you know, I say the word a lot, especially when I'm thinking. Living in a vehicle, you know, my brain gets a little bit foggy. I'm not as sharp as I once was. I'm a lot older, you know, probably than I look as well. I am in my 40s, or maybe I look my age. I don't know, and I honestly couldn't care less. You know, as long as I'm happy about my reflection, then that's all that matters. Damn it. All right, getting sidetracked already, especially as this heat's kicking in. But so the sensationalized parts that I wanted to convey, or I think that I could have done, you know, like I learned something from that video and I want to introduce it into this video, is that if you are on substances, if you do have those problems, if you are straight out the freaking jail, you know, you just did a big old long stretch and you don't have any family and you don't have any friends, it really does come off that the worse that you are, the better chances, or the more stuff that's available, right? And I'll give you a perfect example. There's a lot of people that have several kids, and they you know, they get child support and they get welfare and they get on Section 8, and that they actually have you know, they're living in the hood, they do have money, not a whole lot, otherwise they wouldn't, you know, qualify for those programs. Now if they went ahead and they're barely getting by, you know what I'm saying, they're barely getting by, but they're not having to work, they do get money given to them. You know, they get an allotment for their kids, you know, whether they get child support or not, but they get allotment. Food stamps does have a thing where they give you money if you have children to help with the clothes and help with stuff like that. There's programs out there, right? Those programs help those people, but, you know, because they're in a bad situation. They would be in a better situation if they had the skills to make a lot of money, if they actually had people to watch their children instead. So a lot of people get really angry, like, wait a minute, hey, this person's just doing this, you know, living off the system and stuff like that, and they're not progressing, right? Those programs are also there for you. So that was something that I wanted to convey in the last video. If somebody wants to say, you know, hey, Alien, you got food stamps. That's the only thing that I get is food stamps. Hey, Alien, you get food stamps. You know, instead of you working for money and buying your own food, you get food stamps. First of all, I do work. If this is when, you know, one of your first times watching this, I don't make very much money. I used to make what I thought was pretty decent, but you'll notice that with with what you pay for rent and pay for insurance for your car and paying for everything else, I was living paycheck to paycheck. It really doesn't seem like, unless you're making a very, very, very large, and I was living in the hood where bad stuff happened all the time. Why am I paying all this money to be in danger all the time? You know, why am I? And that's just one of the ways I would say, like, why would you want to spend, you know, $1,000 on an apartment if you do not feel safe even walking to the dumpster? If your car windows keep getting broken into, and eventually your car might get stolen, but they're breaking your windows, and every time they do, it costs you $200, and it's a $500 deductible if you go through your insurance, and your insurance rates are already really high because you live in a zip code where that kind of stuff happens. And I gotta roll this window down, man. I'm sweating, bro. But nonetheless, I was, you know, going on a little bit of a tirade there, but you get my point of view, and that we're all in this together. So if somebody's, you know, those food stamps that I get, you know, you may need that one day. So saying that, you know, hey, you just need to work more, you need to get a better skill set so you don't need those things. Well, guess what? You are very well could be in my position. In fact, one thing's for sure: before somebody became homeless, they lived somewhere. You know, there's a lot of people that talk about what jobs they used to have or they had it really great, and you don't know the circumstances that could lead you here. And you know, you should, and that is the narrative. Oh, that is the narrative part of the sensationalized. That, you know, hey, as long as you continue working, and as long as you don't have those other problems, you know, look at them and judge them, and then you know. Come up with your own stuff. Have no sympathy. Don't have no empathy. Don't have any, you know, humane, feelings. Now, I'm not asking you to go out there and donate stuff, but let's get on the thing. If you donate, think about all these nonprofit organizations. Do they tell you that, you know, they get $50,000 a year? Like, let's say that somebody's employed from a nonprofit. A lot of their salaries, and this is years ago, so it very well could be more. Is, you know, so you think a nonprofit that everybody who's an employee there, that, you know, that they're just volunteers? No, they make an income. So if you were nice enough to donate $1 million to a nonprofit, by the time that $1 million got to the actual people who need the help, think about how less that really is. Okay, you know, maybe the board of directors or whatever, you know, $100,000 a year, so that there goes $100,000 from that donation. You know, what about the other employees? What about the actual space for this and space for that? You know, the trucks that may go pick up the clothes, and that's another thing too. So when you donate clothes, right? A lot of those clothes end up in Goodwill. Like if you donate to Goodwill, or, you know, and this is all allegedly, because now that I'm saying, you know, businesses names, but places that will take your donations and sell it to the homeless. You know, or sell it to people who are, you know, poverty level. Think about it. You know, if somebody's making a lot of money, are they really going to go to, you know, one of those stores to buy a tie, buy a suit, you know, buy some shoes? Most likely not. It's for people who are poverty and barely getting by. Man, it is hot out there. Well, hot in here as well. So the sensationalized part of a lot of that stuff, and when they go, oh, there's programs. Have you ever been in a shelter? Do you know what goes on in a shelter? Okay, there's generally single occupancy bathroom that the door will not be able to lock from the inside. You got to knock on the door before you go in there, and they do that because they don't want anybody there using anything and forgetting to unlock the door. That's one of the things that they typically do. You don't know who used that bathroom before you, and it doesn't matter what bathrooms you go to in general public, but this is a bunch of basically homeless people, and you know, they're bloodborne pathogens. You know, you don't have to actually see blood on the toilet seat to get them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I don't know all the medical stuff with that, but the subconscious, well, the conscious and the subconscious thing of it is, do you want to put, you know, do you want to use a bathroom that somebody who, you know, that the bathroom has, even though it might look clean, still has germs on it? And do you want to lay in a bed that that you have no idea if the stuff is clean? Most of the time it's not. On top of it not being clean, bed bugs. They're kind of like a dorm setting inside the shelters. There are people in there that do things that are very, very disgusting. Like, there's a reason why I would lose my temper. I mean, I would lose control. You know what I mean? Probably shouldn't have said it that way, but if somebody was doing, and I got to use YouTube parameters. If somebody was rolling the dice, you know that movement is. If somebody's rolling the dice, and you hear that while you're trying to sleep, and you're in a shelter full of men, that would bother 99.9% of us. You do not need to be doing that with people that are within 2 feet from each other's beds. And if you were to do that, and I'll talk about that, in trucking, right? So my first trainer and my second trainer, my first trainer was for my permit student driving. Second one was after I got my CDL. I told them both up front that they are not to do that. They have no worries about me doing it. That they are not to do that and are not allowed to watch spicy stuff while I'm in the truck. Either you do either one of those, I said at the very least I'm walking off that truck. But more than likely, there's going to be a physical altercation because you shouldn't be doing that. So I'm giving you a heads up first. You don't have to have me on your truck, but this is what's going to happen. I only got a few rules, getting on somebody's truck, and that was a very strong one. Both of them said, cool. First dude was kind of a pervert, and he didn't do anything like that, but he would always constantly be saying shit about women, and I would tell him to shut up. Second person, I love that. I didn't like my first trainer. Second trainer, still really good friends with him. Love that guy. He's like a brother. Wish he was I really wish he was my father, to tell you the truth. Learned so much from him. He's a great guy. Still talk to him to this day, and even though it's been years. The sensationalized of what people do on YouTube, from the thumbnails, and I'm starting to do a little bit of that with the thumbnails. Sensationalized, I have to get the clicks, but the sensationalized of always showing, there's a lot of YouTube people showing the thumbnails are interviewing people that have scabs and rashes all over themselves. They have extremely bad habits, and there's definitely a lane for that on here where people want to see that stuff, but I think it does paint a narrative where that's all that people are homeless. And I guess maybe because marketing or media, or maybe how we are as people, the people that look the more worse off, the more sympathy that they actually get. What about congratulating and helping people who didn't get that far? What about congratulating and these programs? There should be these programs for people that are almost about to go, be in trouble. So if you have a house, and you're like, well, if I was really hard up, I could go ahead and get Section 8. Well, I gotta tell you, with that Section 8 stuff, just on Google, I think it's got a 3 to 5 year backlog just in San Diego, California. And just let you know, I'm in the Midwest, but I did look that up because I was curious about that before. But so there should be more programs to make sure that this never happens to you to begin with. And I think if they did that, one, that would help the American people. That would also really help so that there was, that's one of the ways to stop homelessness, right? Number two, I guess, with that is that the people that say, these people just need jobs. Well, now you understand the hardness. Before it's not just such a black and white area where one day you're in the house and the next thing you know is you can't pay your bills next night, and there's so many what if situations that could land you this way. And I don't want to go through that stuff because my last video I did a little bit of that, so I do ask you to watch that if you've never seen it before. Another thing too is thinking that the people inside the shelter are actually homeless advocates. It doesn't take a genius to pick up Google and actually look at stuff. So out here in Midwest, there's those programs as far as homeless vouchers, house vouchers that'll get you in a house and stuff like that. A lot of those are out here in the Midwest, they are dispersed at the local level. If you looked on Google, if you typed in Midwest and you typed that in, you would see just how many people in the past have been caught selling those things. So imagine that you are a nonprofit church and that you are very heavily involved into the community, and you fit the guidelines and you reach out to, I guess, the government or whatever the steps that they have. And then there's people that work inside of that shelter or inside that church that, if the situation dictates and mandates, because it's at the local level, they have basically, freedom of who gets one and who doesn't, right? A lot of those people charge money for that. And it's all over Google, and I've heard it and seen it as well. Most of the time, it's not just what money that they want. If it's a woman, they get propositioned, and men get propositioned as well. A woman would get propositioned: if you want this, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And that's absolutely disgusting. There's also where they actually help people. If you got families, you got kids, or you're really going through it, or you fit their description of stuff. Of course, they'll there is good that goes on there, but that's the problem with authority. These people that get that stuff, and they abuse their authority all the time. Do you really want to go inside of a place, like these programs that are meant to help? I'm glad that it helps the people, but like it has the ability to help people, and some people are in there doing it well. Unfortunately, in my area, and I can't speak for every area, so this is broad strokes, and this is dictated to my area. A lot of the homeless shelters, they breed a criminal element of people stealing from homeless. It also breeds, and the people that do that typically are the people who are using and abusing stuff. They're also the kind of people that if you are clean and you do not want to catch something, you probably don't want to bust them in their mouth and have one of their teeth stuck in your hand and then get their blood into yours. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. You also don't want bed bugs. You also don't want, God knows what they wash that stuff with, if they even do wash it. Those rashes and stuff like that. There's staph infections, scabies, or all that crap, right? All that is really scary. I would rather sleep outside. Now, if I was freezing, if it's under 10 degrees like it was this winter, and I barely made it with the heater in my car, negative 10 degrees sleeping out here was rough. I actually really got worried for my health. My legs ballooned up because I was sitting in my driver's spot having the heat blow on all night. Normally I would lay all the way back and stuff like that. It was just way too cold. Like the heat isn't gonna, like having my feet or my down my waist being in the trunk area and me laying back here, it was too miserable, too cold. I couldn't feel my toes. I was afraid that I was going to get frostbite or whatever. Yeah, not even whatever. I was afraid of frostbite because I was losing sensation to my legs. So I was sleeping up front, had all my blankets, had all my sleeping bag, I had all that crap, and I'm sitting here and my legs ballooned up because of the circulation. Like, so the blood from my legs got sucked in to protect my vital organs, and I had indentions on my legs from just where my socks were, and I was quite scared, and it did take a couple days before everything started to get better. But man, that was scary as hell. In that situation, I probably would have gone in there, and not even probably, I would have went in there in those conditions, and I would do my best to not not act out when somebody acts crazy to me. And like, you don't need to put me down. They treat people like crap there. There's cliques. They're very cliquish. And if somebody was to say, how do you know so much before, like if you've never gone in ones like that, I've been around the areas. More important than that is my older videos. I talked about a lot of stuff that was happening at this truck stop that was right down the street from the shelter, and that the shelter people were the people that were running up, robbing the truck drivers, robbing regular people, and stuff like that, and they were burning people with fake substances. Some of them were actually selling real substances. Most of the stuff was extremely violent. They were jumping people. They were jumping other homeless and taking all their crap. If you were stupid enough to go out there wearing, holding a sign thinking that you're going to get something generous given to you, they would sit around and this isn't speculative stuff. I'm talking firsthand. I saw it. Okay, I saw that stuff. Yeah, that stuff still goes on. Still goes on there. Homeland Security's there because of how many truck drivers have been hit like that. And I think they actually started going after their freight. And once they started going after freight, that's game over, I guess, right? The sensationalized part of people changing the narratives of these, look how dirty their tents are, living in a commune. Where's the cameras really showing the people that are doing what I do? Like barely getting by living in my car. I am a good person. I'm not a thief. I don't go out hurting people. I do the right thing when people aren't even looking. You know what I mean? If somebody was to drop their wallet and had a big old wad of money in it or whatever, I'd have the temptation. I mean, that's a natural thing. I'd have the temptation to maybe keep it, but the truth is I would not keep it. I would, here, ma'am, you dropped this. Here, sir, you dropped that. And why would I do that? I do that because that's what I would want if I dropped my wallet and I had that money. I would also not be able to sleep very well at night knowing that I got over on somebody, and that's just who I am. I think it's wrong for somebody to do that stuff. That's just the bottom line. And it's starting to get sidetracked because of how hot it is, but stay with me real quick. Yeah, so if you watch this far, the secret word is going to be expense. EXPENSE. So if you've got this far, put that in the comment section for me, please. Probably going to end the video now because of how hot and sweaty I'm getting. You know, definitely if you want to show me love or bless me, please hit my Cash App, AlienAscend, put it in the description. Yeah, if you watch this far and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe because you probably like it. And then I also got something like 70 videos of long form content, and I want to thank everybody for rocking with me. Thank you so much.